So we get a bowl and we're going to put 1 cup of all-purpose flour. I normally use self-rising, but to just change it up a little bit, 1 cup of all-purpose. And to that, 1½ teaspoons of baking powder. Okay? And then salt, 1/4 teaspoon of salt. You mix that all together, and then you have self-rising flour. That's what this is. Simple, huh? Of course, you could just use self-rising flour. All right, we'll get this mixed up, and now for butter. This is cold right out of the refrigerator, and you want to grate in about 1.5 tablespoons to 2 tablespoons of butter. And you want this butter nice and cold right out of the refrigerator. In fact, some people freeze their butter to do this, and you could do that if you want to, but you don't have to. And next, we want to get something to break all the butter pieces apart. I'm going to use the end of this spoon. We want them to get coated with the flour. So you just do it like this until you see them separated. And next, we want to put the raisins in. I have 1/4 cup of regular raisins. And you do the same thing to the raisins that you did to the butter. You want to break them up, make sure they're all separated, and mix them in to the flour mixture. I hope things are going well in your world. These are so good, so delicious. I think you'll like them. They're really easy to make. It's much harder to make a video showing how to do it than to do it. Now I'm going to use some wax paper to make it easy for cleanup. And also it helps me make the biscuits. And I'm going to use buttermilk for these biscuits. You can use regular milk, but I'm using buttermilk. And I have 1/2 cup of buttermilk. And in it goes. And of course you need to gently bring this together. It's going to create a shaggy dough. You don't want to overmix it. This is probably the area that most people make their mistake. Just take your time, very easy, very gently. Give the liquid a chance. Give the liquid time to be absorbed by the flour. You see that? It's thick. Okay, let's just turn this out on the paper. And you see it's not all incorporated yet. There's still a lot of just dry flour. Let me get out the biscuit cutters before my hands get too messy. I'm going to use a 2.5-inch biscuit cutter. Okay, now you just begin to press. We want to bring this together and press it enough so it all holds together. Very, very simple. And the wax paper really helps. I'm going to let it assist me and fold that over about 1/3 over, just like that. And then do it the opposite way. If you've never tried this method, I hope you give it a try. Now you don't have to do it this way. You can just work right on your board, but this just makes it a little easier, and it certainly makes cleanup easier. Now I'm going to go the opposite direction. And these folds, this is what gives your biscuits nice layers and lightness. You can see there's still a lot of dry flour in there. It hasn't been mixed in yet, but it will. We're creating layers. So you press it, you work it, you fold it again, and you want this dough to be as wet as possible without sticking. You see that starting to stick right here on the paper, and so I'm going to get just a little bit of flour and then do the other side. And you want it wet almost to the point of sticking. And I'm just speeding this up so you can see it. It's the same process, folding and pressing out, getting those layers in. All right, you see that? Now we press it out, and now it's time to put the cinnamon sugar on. And you sprinkle it on nice and thick, like making cinnamon toast. And if you don't use all of this mixture, well, I have a jar of this for cinnamon toast, and I'll just put this in my jar. But it's a really liberal amount, just like that. Can you see how thick that is? And then you want to give it a press. You want to try and press it in just a bit. Okay. And then we want to fold this in. So the cinnamon sugar is not mixed completely in the biscuit dough, but it's layered in. And it helps make those delicious layers. And when this is done, it's a lot like cinnamon rolls more than biscuits. And the kids will really like it. Okay? Now we're going to go ahead and cut these out and put them into the pan. You push straight down, you don't twist. The pan is cold, there's no heat under the pan. So we'll put these in. This is very straightforward now. Can you see the layers? Oh yeah, beautiful. These are going to cook up nicely. In fact, you don't have to cook these on the stovetop. I'm just showing how to do it on the stovetop. You could put these in a regular baking pan, have your oven to about 375 to 400 degrees, and let them bake until they rise up and are cooked and lightly golden, maybe 14-15 minutes, and you can cook them in your oven. But I want to show you how to do it on top of the stovetop. Now it's time to get some heat going. And you want to bring it down to a medium-low heat to start. Put the lid on. It's really important. You have to have a lid. And when you see steam develop, then you want to bring the heat down to low and let them cook for 4 minutes. Then after 4 minutes, it's time to check them and turn them. So we'll just pop these over. Take a look at the bottom. Oh yeah, nice and brown. And you just have to give these enough time to cook. And you think about them cooking, and they cook from the bottom up. And so you let the bottom cook and cook the middle until it's done. And then you flip them over and allow the second side to do the very same thing. And so we'll cover these and let this other side cook for 4 minutes. Nice and slow. Let's take a look. They've risen up nicely. I'm going to go ahead and flip these over again. And you just have to give them enough time. You see they're not burned. They're nice and golden brown. Beautifully layered. Can you see that? Of course, that last one is just pressed together. And it's kind of a mess, but that's the way it always works out. The first two are the nicest looking ones. And we'll let these go for another 3 minutes. And you just have to let them cook until they get done on the inside. And you can check, you can open one up and see how it looks. I'm going to flip these over. And if it's not done, you just let them keep cooking. And you flip them like this. Okay, we'll let these cook a little longer. You want to make sure they're done in the middle, but it's not hard. Another 3 minutes, and let's take a look and see. Oh yes, that's nice. Absolutely wonderful. And so we'll take these out and plate them up. Beautiful layers. Can you see those layers? I think you're going to like it. And now let's get the glaze. And you can put as much or as little as you like. Also, you don't have to use raisins. If you don't like raisins, don't put any raisins in. They're delicious without them. We'll put this glaze on, and there you have it. Beautiful glazed cinnamon raisin biscuits. Look at that. Let's have a bite. So good. I think you'll like these. Anyway, thanks for watching. Check the description box. All the ingredients are listed there. Take care. We'll see you next time. Bye now.